A supporter on Patreon sent me a note and he was talking about this relationship and he screwed it up. And it's an interesting way how he screwed it up. Let me explain. So the guy tells me that he's seeing some woman, right? And this woman, everything is going hunky-dory, right? Sex is great, she's fun to be around, having a good time, all good, right? But then, she wants like the relationship to go up to the next level, right? She wants it to be like more serious, right? And he in this conversation that she initiates, he says, no, I'm happy how we are, I don't want to move in together or anything like that, and she sort of like breaks up with him, yeah? Breaks up with him, but they're still going to go on some vacation together, yeah? They're going to go on some vacation for a week together, and they're still fooling around. I mean, it's still status quo ante, right? Before this conversation. I mean, she might be saying that they're still like broken up, but it's not really. They're still continuing, right? And so, it's friends with benefits and all the rest of it, all good. And then this guy, he tells me, he writes in his DM, and I'm not going to quote it, because I'm not ridiculing him, but you read it and you're like, oh my goodness, what have you done, kid? Yeah, what he decides to do. Oh, he tells her that he wants them to be friends with benefits. Oh God, oh God. I mean, it was less like it was like a blow to my gut, when I read this from him. Okay, I mean. And I wrote him back that was his mistake because, of course, she got offended, she got upset with him and all the rest of it because no woman wants to feel that she's the friends with benefits. She wants to feel like she's the girlfriend. Or let me phrase that. See, if a girl is really just looking for friends with benefits, she's not going to have the big relationship talk with the guy. Now, will she? Of course not. You, as a guy, you want to have a friends with benefits type situation, but the girl wants more. Don't talk about it. Don't dissuade her. Don't make it explicit. Use ambiguity. Basically, never discuss your relationship, especially when a girl wants more from you than you want from her. Yeah, simple as that. I mean, for the most part, it's always a mistake when a guy talks about his relationship. When a guy talks to his girlfriend or whatnot and wants to clearly define the relationship because he's usually going to screw it up. Okay? No. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just let the relationship go wherever it wants to go. You see? Okay, let me explain it a different way. See, say you're dating some girl. And she wants you and her to like move in together or become more of an established couple, that kind of thing. And you're just happy with the way things are, right? Okay, so when she talks to you about the state of your relationship and she expresses the fact that she wants you guys to move in together and to get a puppy together and, more of a commitment, right? What do? Do you argue with her? No, you do not. You do not argue with her. You just nod along. You just nod along and let her think whatever she wants to think. You just say, oh, that's very interesting. Oh, yeah, we should see about that. We should think about it. Yeah. And just to let the conversational ball roll along, but not really changing its direction. Let it go in the direction that she wants to. And then what do? You do whatever you want. That's what you do. A girl you're seeing wants to get more serious. Okay, you can talk about getting serious, but what does that mean? Like moving in together? You resist it, but you resist it not like aggressively. You just ignore it. That's the way you handle a girl when she wants more from you than you are willing to give. You just ignore it. You just blow her off, ignore it. And if she doesn't get the message, just, don't talk to her for like a week. Yeah? She messages you, texts you, just ignore those texts, ignore those messages. Yeah, after a week, she'll be like, her head will be ready to explode. Yeah, and she might yell at you and you just say, hey, why are you yelling at me? I just had busy work, friends, this, that, the other, whatever. Just make something up, right? To explain the fact that you blew her off. And she'll just, yell at you for a little bit, but then she'll cool down and, you'll be where you were before, right? And she'll be more nervous because of course she'll realize that, if you blew her off for a week, then you don't really need her, now do you? No, you blew her off for a week and you didn't call her for a week, but she was freaking out. She was texting you. She was like, you see? And so she will realize that the dynamic, the person who has control of the relationship is you, which is what you want, okay? That's what you want. You want to be in the driver's seat of the relationship. You don't want to be going in the direction that she wants. You want to go in the direction that you want. So you let her talk whatever she wants to talk, but then you do whatever you want. So many guys screw this up. I mean, so many guys screw this up completely. How do they screw it up? By talking. In Spanish, we have a saying that the fish dies by the mouth. Exactly. A guy talks and he's only going to screw himself up insofar as a relationship with a woman. What he has to do, what you have to do, is basically, see, when the girl says that she wants a more serious commitment, you don't give her anything to hang her hat on. You don't allow yourself to be pinned down. And if she really pressures you, you ghost for a week. And she'll chill out after that. But no, lots of guys start talking and they start arguing with the girl. And they start arguing with the girl, and of course what happens with the girl? She gets upset. And she doesn't want to sleep with you anymore. She doesn't want to sleep with you anymore because she starts thinking, well, you said that you didn't want anything serious, you just want friends with benefits. And she starts thinking to herself, you know, I'm never going to have a long-term relationship with this guy, so I might as well dump him now while I can and find somebody else. That's what she's going to be thinking. That's what she's going to do. She's going to dump you, and you're going to lose a potentially good relationship that made you happy, right? Because you were dumb enough to define yourself. See, and by the way, this goes for everything, every kind of negotiation. A lot of times it's smarter not to allow yourself to be defined in the negotiation. Let the other person define themselves, okay? You keep your options open. This goes for women, it goes for business, okay? I mean, if you sit down and say, this is what I want, and I want it this way and that way, well then, you know, the other person is going to have to be like, okay, take it or leave it. And what happens if they decide to leave it, right? But if you keep it ambiguous, and you don't define yourself, you don't, you know, you yourself open your mouth so damn wide that you bite on the hook, yeah? The fish dies by the mouth, remember. Well, if you keep it ambiguous, then the other person will like talk and talk and talk, but you can do more or less whatever you want. And when the other person does something that you like, you accept it, thankfully, and you thank them. And you make it clear that you like what they're doing. And when they do something that you don't like, you go away for a while. You ignore them for a week or so. And then they'll come back at you and they'll do whatever you want because they'll be afraid of losing you. You see? For women, for business, for everything, for life, that's how it works. That's how people are. Yeah, people are always more interested in the person who doesn't really need them. Yeah? You heard that expression, oh, he's too clingy. What does that mean? It means that the person is trying to grab on too much. And the person who's being clung to, they want to get away. Yeah? That's natural. And if the positions are reversed, if the guy used to be clinging, but he's not clinging anymore, on the contrary, he's sort of like elusive, and he goes away for a week or so, right? What happens with the girl? She becomes the clingy one. She wants to grab on to him, not let go. Yeah, it's human nature, for crying out loud. So that's why you never discuss your relationship with a woman. Because if you discuss it, you will define yourself. No, you don't have a discussion, both of you talking. No. You let her talk. And you like nod along and like, oh yeah. Well, yeah, you know, I have to change this, I have to improve, you're right, I don't know, maybe, whatever. And then after that half hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, it's because sometimes girls just talk more than me, for crying out loud. Anyway, at the end of this marathon of talking, right, what have you defined? If you've been smart, you haven't defined anything. You have not defined a single damn thing, which is what you want. Which is what you want. You don't want to define yourself. You define yourself, you pin yourself down, then you have no options. Yeah? Don't do that. Be smart. Let the other person talk themselves out. You keep quiet, non-committal. Non-committal, that's your watchword. Always sort of like nodding, but not really agreeing, just nodding along. Just letting them out, letting them release all those words. Because remember too, women, they need words because it soothes them. They need to let out all these words so to just chill out and relax. Yeah? Because the anxiety of the relationship, especially when they get hooked on you, the amount of anxiety that they have is incredible. I mean, come on. You've been like hooked on some girl, right? You thought she was just aces. And how anxious were you? How nervous were you? You're with this girl, you're sleeping with her, she's a great girl, she's smart, she's funny, she's this, that, pretty, all the rest of it, great body, everything going, and you become tense, nervous, anxious, right? That happens with girls too. It happens with girls, and they need to express that. And how do they express that? By talking. So you let them talk, but you don't allow yourself to be defined by this talk. When I was young, I used to think that I had to define everything, that I had to define myself and make that definition public, that I wanted this or I wanted that, or I did not want this and I wanted that, whatever the case was, that I had to define myself clearly. The older I've gotten, the more I've realized how valuable ambiguity really is. Just not defining yourself, just not allowing yourself to be pinned down, to maintaining maximum flexibility until the very last moment. The longer you stretch out ambiguity, the more advantageous your position will be when you finally have to sign on the line that is dotted. That's a truth in business, it's a truth with girls, it's a truth of life. The more you define yourself, the harder you define yourself, then the more inflexible your position becomes. And potentially you can lose out on a lot of opportunities. You can lose out on a lot of opportunities and potentially wind up with the short end of the stick. Potentially you can wind up losing that which you want in trying to define what you want so specifically. It could be that the thing that you want slips away. This guy who wrote to me and telling me all this story about this girl and all the rest of it, he wanted a friends with benefits situation. He was basically getting it. But because he sat down with the girl and told her that he wanted a friends with benefits situation, he's losing it. That's what happened. It's not more complicated than that. He wanted to have a friends with benefit type situation with a girl and have a good time and all the rest of it, but no real commitment. He was getting that. And then he sat down and he had a discussion. Don't fall for this guy's mistake. He's a great guy. He's watching this now and he knows that I do not mean to disrespect him. I'm not disrespecting him, but I'm telling you this as a lesson. Don't define yourself. Let others define themselves, but you keep your options open.